Welcome back to Switch to Linux. I gotta try and keep my volume down. I left my window open. My neighbors will think I'm nuts if I go off the hinges. Some people like it when I go off the hinges. Other people are like, that's loud and annoying. Can't please everybody, right? Oh well, we'll see what happens. Well, welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. Greetings to everybody who's here already. Chater, how's it going there? Daniel Haddock. Daniel, what's your problem with Debian9? Curious to know. Sandman, hello. Albert Crow, how's it going there? Let's see. Mainly because the high was 32C here, and the car I ride is leather seats. Oh, well, yeah. You know. Cloth is good sometimes. Leather's good sometimes. But in hot weather, cloth is actually a little bit better. The whole insulation thing. Well, we have some fun articles here for today. We are going to start out with a few articles talking about the death of the small business. Then we are going to talk about privacy concerns. We have some corporate self-regulation because companies are really good at regulating themselves. And then I have a final article on smart living. And let's see. Hello, Karim. How's it going there? Bonjour du chat. I believe that's hello chat? Sir lay chat? I don't know. I'm one of them U.S. people. I pretty much only speak English. Oh, well. Guess I can be forgiven for that sometimes. Some cookies. Ooh, how's my time? My time's doing pretty good. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump on in. We're going to talk first. We're going to cover the articles relating to the death of the small business. And the first thing I actually wanted to pull up regarding the death of the small business is I actually wanted to look at a new change that's coming to your Facebook feeds that most of my viewers probably don't have. I know I don't really have one, but this one was an article that came from the Facebook feeds. And Kitty wants to come say hello.
Hello, everybody. Don't use Facebook. It sucks.
All right. Kitty does not like Facebook either, apparently. All right. So what we're going to do here is Facebook is pushing out some new changes. What does this have to do with the death of the small business? Well, they're going to be pushing out some algorithm changes in how they're displaying things on the news feed. Because when it's like the YouTube. You click subscribe on the YouTube, you click the little thing for notifications, and you expect to be notified when something important is going on the channel you ask to be notified to. Does that happen? No, they give you what you want to see, not what you want to see. And Facebook does the same thing. The idea of Facebook was you go on, you create a profile, you have all of these friends, and the friends are, The friends are, all connected to you, and then you're supposed to be able to have your connections with your friends, and then see what's up with your friends, and all that kind of stuff. What? No, you can't have it. No, it's mine. You're supposed to have all these connections with your friends, and then you're supposed to be able to see in the Facebook feed the things that your friends do. That was the idea of Facebook, wasn't it? To keep up with your friends. Now it has been co-opted by crazy big business, or if you've watched the movie Social Network, they created the party and the whole thing became uncool, and it became radically uncool because now all Facebook is, as far as I'm concerned, I jump onto Facebook maybe once a week to see if anybody sent me any messages. And usually I forget, and sometimes it's like a month before I go anywhere. You get on there, and now the whole thing, it's a bunch of fake news, it's a bunch of crazy controversial stuff, and the worst thing I ever saw on Facebook is somebody was really proud that their child finally pooped in the toilet and displayed a picture of the poop. in Facebook, and that was about the time I stopped looking at Facebook. Blech. So now they're changing their algorithm again. You're going to get stories in your news feed that will load quickly. Well, what does this have to do with small business? Well, a lot of it has to do with the fact that not all web pages load quickly, and a lot of web page load speed, a lot of it actually has to do with who your host is. And if you have the ability to have a full-scale server like Facebook or any big news group, you can push your feeds pretty quick. But if you are still relying on a shared hosting plan, you probably shouldn't have a shared hosting plan, but if you are still relying on a shared hosting plan or some other plan similar to that, you're going to have a little bit slower hosting, and that's going to push your feeds down to the bottom. And of course, all these big groups like CNN and Snopes and all these other guys that have all of the funds to have the best, most optimized websites, they're going to be pushed up the top. And now Facebook's even going to be bad for you to promote your small business even on Facebook. And that's going to be the type of stuff that we'll start to see happening. And what we're seeing here in the articles I saw, and I don't go hunting for articles. I just scan the things to see what's interesting. What is interesting right now in this current political environment where we are at, yes, Kitty, give me 5? Yeah. Kitty, give me 5. What we're going to do in this nice political environment here is that we're seeing a whole lot of huge corporation things, and small businesses are getting hurt by a lot of what's going on. That's the whole thing in net neutrality right now, right? In net neutrality right now, the businesses are, the small ISPs are going to be overrun by the big ISPs, period. And the small companies, the small businesses, what if a competitor to Netflix wants to show up? Well, if the net neutrality rules go away, Netflix will be able to stream just fine because they can pay for the optimized streaming, but the small business cannot. And that's one of those problems. So this is going to be starting to happen now even on Facebook. As they're pushing things into your Facebook feed, they're prioritizing the things that load quicker. And that is dangerous, assuming that you want to get on and promote your business on Facebook. You better have your website optimized to the point where it loads just as fast as everything else. However, I don't even know how they're going to come up with this algorithm, because if their algorithm is truly true, CNN will be pushed away because that thing takes forever to load all that crap they're loading. In fact, if you look at Brian Lunduke's Why the Internet Sucks, or whatever that video was, or the Internet really sucks, or whatever it was, check out Brian Lunduke's channel for that. It's a couple weeks back. But he talks about looking at the CNN page and how much memory the thing actually takes to load. It's like 400 megabytes to load that stupid website. And it's a website. It shouldn't take that much. I think the whole thing was like 12K or something. That wasn't 12K. It was 12 megabytes, but it takes 400 megabytes to render. So it's kind of crazy. All right, let's see. There's a couple comments out here. Here, Facebook is pretty much mandatory because I live in a very small and quaint town where cell service went down. People flocked to Facebook. Let's see. The cell service went down today because somebody hit a wire. Bell and whoever used their towers just, died. They also halted delayed planes and broke the ATMs somehow. Kat, you're not supposed to be on my desk. What are you doing? Are you going for the Temptations? You will get a temptation at the end of the show. All right? Temptations at the end of the show for you. All right. Let's see. Same here. Once a week or a month, most people, most of the feed people are posting clips or quotes of some other people. Not much original stuff. I could browse myself on different sites for news. Yeah. Yes, I've heard the news on Maritimes got their lines cut off. Wonder who will take the blame. Huh. All right. Well, the next article here, Amazon, they're doing some things to crush small business. Now, of course, in full disclosure, I do have Amazon affiliates account. There will be links down below. It is one way that you can help support the channel. I've never actually made any money on it, but the amount that you need to make is pretty high compared to the amount of stuff that you get. If you have millions and millions of sales going through your affiliate account, you can make a few bucks, but I don't have much. But regardless, there's a little bit there. But anyway, Amazon, they're pushing out a new thing on small businesses. Now, this is funny because when I stopped being a professor, that cat just got hair absolutely everywhere. It's like an explosion of fuzz. I actually have some videos where the cat came up and people were like, "You're allergic to cats." No, I'm not allergic to cats. If you know that cat, it's a fuzzball. Literally, I am covered in cat hair now. It's an irritation. It's not an allergy because I got just hair sticking everywhere. I'm trying to get rid of it, but it's just going away. No, if I were allergic to cats, that thing would have killed me by now. But regardless, when I first stopped teaching, and of course I was connected to a university, so I go in at the end of the year, and at the end of the year in any major school, and it used to be this way, it's not as much anymore, but you used to be able to go in there, and then the students would sell back their textbooks. You bought a textbook for $700 bajillion, and the textbook company, the bookstore will gladly take it back to you for $10. And so people would go in there to sell back your books, and then what happened is, if they wouldn't take a book back for some reason, is the students would just throw them outside in front of the bookstore because who wants these stupid books? So I'd go over there, and somebody wasn't learning something from the business classes. I'd go in there like once a day, and I'd just go and just collect all these textbooks people were throwing out, and I'd sell them on Amazon. And I was making $1,000 a month selling marketing and business books on Amazon, used that these business majors were just throwing away in the bookstore rather than selling them on the internet. And so I was making a lot of bank doing that. So there was a time I actually made a lot of money selling just used books or just little things through Amazon. Actually, I did it the first time I did it through eBay, just with all the trinkets as I first cut back my life back about 15 years ago. And then, about 7 to 10 years ago is when I was using Amazon, selling a lot of things on Amazon. I sold a lot of movies, sold a lot of books, sold a lot of things on Amazon. Actually, I did pretty well for myself doing that. But then, of course, I let the account count go down, didn't sell anything for a while. And then I got up when I started minimalizing my life again. I started saying, well, what can I sell these books for on Amazon? And I picked out, 15, 20 books I could sell online on Amazon. But then I go on to actually log back into my seller account, and they're like, oh, you can't do that. So I call them up. I'm like, why can I not sell on Amazon? Oh, you have to create a new account. Why? Why do I have to create a new account? I already have an account. I have this Amazon account. I've always sold on it in the past. Oh, well, you need a new account now. Amazon's so big, they can't just toggle a switch and go, oh, yeah, we're going to re-enable that account. So I said, I'm not going to start a new account for all this silliness. But that's kind of what's happening. But now, of course, they have this fulfillment by Amazon thing. So if you shop on Amazon, you'll see the fulfillment by Amazon links down there. And with the fulfillment by Amazon links, basically what that means is that you can send your stuff to Amazon and you pay them to send it, and then you pay them for a cubic foot of storage, and then it is fulfilled by Amazon. Well, if you choose not to do that, in other words, if you are a self-fulfillment person, they are now pushing out new policies about it. And so here's what they are doing. So one of the things they're doing is they will automatically authorized for returns. So what this means is that when you bought something on Amazon and it was not fulfilled directly by Amazon, to do a chargeback, you would have to go into the seller, you'd have to contact the seller and see if the seller can resolve your problem first. If the seller cannot resolve your problem, then they would issue a chargeback. That would push a prepaid return envelope into your account. You'd print that out, put the item in a box, ship it back, and then when the item came back to the shipper, then your refund was submitted. Okay. What they're doing now is that everything is automatically authorized for that return. So you don't have to contact the seller anymore. In other words, translation, and this is how people are going to game this system. Joe Schmo, no, excuse me, Carl Stewart. Carl Stewart, he decides he's going to buy this awesome flashlight that I'll sell you for like $700, okay? So I'm going to sell my awesome flashlight for $700, and which, by the way, is something like a 7,000% markup. I think I bought this for $1. I don't know, 700, I don't know. Okay, works pretty well, though. So I get this, I'm going to sell this thing, and Carl Stewart's going to buy my flashlight. So Carl Stewart comes and buys my flashlight, and it ships to him, and he gets the flashlight. And then he just says, oh, I don't want the flashlight, and he issues a return. Now, without contacting me first, without having me help resolve the issue, then he can print out the label and send it back and issue the chargeback. But wait, it gets better. Additionally, they're introducing returnless refunds. They said it was highly requested by sellers. No. Returnless refunds? This means that, oh, this product is just too big of a pain to ship back, and it's harder to resell it. And so, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and refund you. So not only can I issue my own refund without contacting you and without selling the item back, now I don't even have to send the item back. Yeah, do you think Carl Stewart is going to pay $700, issue the chargeback, and then be kind and send this thing back? Carl Stewart's going to steal my $700 flashlight by paying for it, getting the product, and then issuing the chargeback and simply not sending the thing back. Now, that returnless refunds, which got everybody in a tizzy, Amazon backpedaled a little bit and said, oh, well, this is now optional. This is now optional. But this is destructive to a small business. This is destructive to a small business. Translation, you have two options. A, risk all of the scammers who are going to screw you over. Or B, utilize our model, full fulfillment by Amazon. And here is their pricing. So your fulfillment fees, so here's your fulfillment fees. This is what you're paying. And then this is what you're paying for storage. Of course, here's October and December. So basically, you can get screwed over by the idiot, or you can pay Amazon even more money for the privilege of having them ship your stuff anyway. This is anti-small business. Amazon, you should be ashamed of yourself. All right, let's check in on the comments here. Do I have is my kitty being in a good kitty comment spot? Yeah, there he is. There's the kitty comments. All right, cat hair, fire. Yeah, I should. Cat is shedding. Someone needs a bath. Oops, run, kitty. Kitty, want a bath? He's like, no. I don't want a bath. Funny thing is, there was a week of Facebook AI bot self-communicating. If my cat took a bath, I wouldn't have arms nor any blood left. One moment she's fine, next moment she kills on sight. That's how mine is. I stopped giving my cats a bath because I'm worried that the neighbors are going to call the police for animal abuse. They are crazy. If they get locked in the bathroom with the bathtub running, oh boy, it's done. It's done. Hey, Drawn Paint, how's it going there? Oh boy. Returnless refunds. Oh boy, people are gonna buy what they want and then refund, and they can't sell back. Yep, can't send back. Yep. Carl instead will try to sell it for $1,400. That's $1,500. It's $1,500. Oh boy. Yeah, small businesses are getting hurt by this stuff. Oh, this is a fun one. This one actually impacts small business. So I didn't hear about this until I got a newsletter from EFF. Basically, there's this new Sex Trafficking Act of 2017 being talked about in Congress. And the problem with this, of course, this is like one of those rules. It's like, if you go against it, you will be branded as you are participating in sex trafficking. No. The problem is, if you have a third-party site like Facebook or like My Classified Website, or how about MyLocalClassifiedWebsite.com, if you want to be enterprising and you live in one of these small towns, put up a little classified ad site with maybe a little membership subscription fee, or maybe just sell ads on the thing. In a little community, you'll have a whole lot of people coming up. The problem is what happened, and this goes back to the site called Backpage. So Backpage, which was taken from basically a tip of the hat to the back pages of dirty magazines, where you'd find all sorts of weird advertisement on those. Well, Backpage had listed on it. It was basically like a classified site for naughty stuff. And what was happening on there is, apparently you could get on there and some people were selling prostitutes, which is called human trafficking. So what their solution is that what this bill basically says is that if a website even has hosted on it, because some nefarious weirdo put something up here that could be interpreted in some way as sex trafficking, not only is the person who posted it liable, but the company is also liable. It's the same thing that Germany has talking about right now with Facebook is required to take down certain posts after a certain period of time. And this is kind of that same thing. So while this sounds on the surface to be a great bill, it is actually dangerous. Particularly dangerous to small businesses who do not have the time to monitor everything. Because, I got news for you. I don't look at all my websites every day. I'm lucky if I look at all my websites every week to make sure they're not crazy or hacked or whatever else. Well, if I had even just a basic forum or a simple WordPress site with the ability to post comments, and I don't lock down the comments enough, and somebody posts some link to some human trafficking thing, now I am even liable for having that on the website. That is what the letter of this law actually says. That is why this thing is destructive for small business. So we have to be careful about that. So yeah, more small business death. And then of course our last small business one, what would a small business conversation be without net neutrality? And yeah, Asia pie, shut your pie hole. Basically why I included this one is of course the whole concept of net neutrality. You know, if you are a big company like a YouTube or a Facebook or a Netflix, you have the ability to pay for the extra thing that one of these ISPs could legally do if net neutrality goes away. They could legally sell you, your bandwidth for a higher price. These companies could pay for it, but the competitors cannot. And that is kind of the problem. Now, of course, in this article here, some other politicians are coming in and saying you're focusing exclusively on raw dollars rather than what's best for small businesses and for consumers. This anti-net neutrality stuff, this is very good for the huge conglomerate ISPs, and that is it. That is it. Nobody else benefits from any of this stuff. That is the truth on that. All right. Now, let's have a quick look at some comments. Comments in a kitty can. Kitty comments. Greetings, Justin. Good evening, cat. Okay, people are just saying hi to the cat. All right. Buy my AMD Mega 32-bit for $1,500. Best computer, no refunds. All right, there you go. All right, on to our privacy news. Some stuff leaked about iOS 11 that is a little interesting, concerning for me on a privacy thing. And I think at this point in time, I think I'm done on iPhones. As much as I've had all of the phones. I've had even the weird, I'm not sure it's around anymore, like the BlackBerry Z, which was kind of their foray into the modern smartphone era. That thing was the worst smartphone ever. It was even worse than Windows smartphone, if you can possibly believe that. I've had a Windows. I liked Windows basic format. The thing was just not stable. And then of course I've had my fair share of Androids and my fair share of iPhones. And I gotta say that over the years and even now, I still like iPhone a little bit better. But what's attracting me now to Android more is the easier ability to root them, the easier ability to get my contact list off of them, put my contact list onto them, share files without going through networking stuff. Basically, I'm looking at the lockdown on the iPhone right now as extremely restrictive with wanting to be intentional in what I'm doing. On top of that, easier to root many Android phones. I just have to go into it knowing that I'm getting an Android phone I can root, and so I can do any additional lockdown I want to do. And so with that, iPhone's starting to freak me out a little bit more, especially even now it's rumored that the new one will not even have a home button. So I guess is it still going to work if I put a piece of tape over the fingerprint reader? Probably not. I don't know. We'll see. But I think I'm done with iPhones. After my SE is done, I think I'm done with iPhones. But regardless, a firmware leaked corresponding to iOS 11.0.2. This is the iOS that is supposed to go with their new HomePod smart speaker that they're coming out with. And look at all of this face detection stuff. This thing spies on your face, man. Should be like a beauty mirror. iPhone on the wall. Who's the prettiest of them all? Ugh. Not you. So it's kind of freaky how much this stuff actually has. So infrared cameras, a lot of face detection stuff. So, that's kind of freaky to me. I do not want all of this type of lockdown. I'm happy with the passcode, thank you. And actually anymore, I don't really keep anything on my phone at all anymore. I clear the pictures anytime I take them off. Which, by the way, I might have found a bug in Cinnamon 18.2. when I dumped my pictures, I didn't want to dump and completely delete them, but I dumped the pictures onto my one computer because I wanted to make sure that, basically I needed some photos over there. It actually moved the photos off my iPhone onto the computer. It didn't copy them, it moved them. And so I'm going to do some more experimenting and testing and see, is that really a bug, or did I do something goofy, or what the deal is. If it's a bug, I'll report it. But if you have an iPhone, be careful copying photos because it might be moving them off your device. Just an FYI. So by doing that, I accidentally cleared every picture off of my phone. Even the pictures I actually wanted to save on there are gone. So, fortunately, they're on this computer, and then when I realized they were gone, I put them on my centralized NAS. So, they're on multiple computers now in case of any failure while I'm dealing with it. But regardless, a little disconcerting still, All right, and this next one, here's a question. Can you sue your insurance company over a data breach, even if your info has not been used? What are your thoughts? My thoughts? Absolutely. In fact, this is a hot button for me because being a hot button, what I really don't like is the fact that it's American justice system has this viewpoint whereby we have to be damaged before we can take anything, and that is absolutely ludicrous, especially when it's intentional. So a company collects my data. I don't even give authorization for them to collect this data, and then it gets hacked out and leaked. And now I have no recourse at all until I can prove actual monetary loss by some company for doing this. And I got news for you. When someone steals your ID, they don't use it for a number of years. In fact, I believe that all of these crazy spam calls that make me want to throw my phone across the room, but I don't. All these spam calls that I get, I believe every one of them goes back to a hack from Maricopa that happened 3 years ago because I applied for a job down there and they didn't hire me, but they kept all my stuff on file for 7 years. 7 years later, their system was hacked, and your data was taken. It took 3 more years, and I believe that is the point source why all those spammers got it. Why? Because it was the very email I'm getting attacked with spam right now, and it was the very phone number I'm getting attacked with spam right now. That is it. That is what has to be the root of all this. And it takes so long for these guys to use it. Now, credit cards they'll usually use within 6 months. Personal identifying stuff, they wait. They wait. And so if a data breach occurs, I think we should go after these companies, sue them into oblivion, get them out of here, so that maybe somebody will start putting passwords on their AWS servers. Jeez. So yes, I think you should be able to sue your insurance company if they leak data. And I think you should be able to sue any company who loses and leaks your data. Absolutely. Absolutely. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you agree with me? Should we be able to sue these companies? Basically, what's going on here is 2015, Care First revealed more than 1 million customer accounts were accessed by hackers for an entire year. Check your logs much? But it did, now these people are coming back and saying, we want to sue over this. They're like, well, you weren't damaged by this. You were not monetarily damaged by this. See, if we want to clean up the legal system in this country, I got to tell you, here's some things we can do. Number one, if a company wants to have the same constitutional rights as a citizen, then they should have the same criminal liability, which means if a company intentionally violates the law, they should be these CEOs in charge should go to jail, and not the Hilton jail where it's nice. Send them to Bubba's cell sharing federal flippin' prison. You want to break the laws? That's it. You want to be like, it's all our constitutional, and we have First Amendment rights. You have First Amendment rights, but we can't hold you liable for breaking the law. That's a problem, people. That's a problem. So that's number one thing we can do. If a company wants the constitutional rights of the Americans, the company should be prosecuted like the Americans, including real jail time for the people in charge. Number two, we have this huge misbalance in that a monetary loss to a person only amounts to the exact amount that is lost. So, for example, my car, which I bought, I think almost 10 years ago, is probably only worth like $1,000 or $2,000 at this point. If some guy crashes into my car, they have to pay the value of the car right now, which would bum me out because my chance of finding another $1,000 or $2,000 car that is as reliable as mine is probably fairly low because I know the maintenance that went into mine. Okay, but that's the law. It was an accident, fine. But if some jerk over here takes a baseball bat and just starts bashing on it and still totals the car, they still only have to pay $1,000. Let's go back to the biblical model. If it was an accidental thing, you have to pay for what it was. If it was an intentional thing, or you've lost your ever-loving mind and bashed my car with a baseball bat, 5 times its value, buddy. Chop it up. You know? So that's the second thing we can do. So the first thing is, if a company wants the same constitutional protections that the American citizens have, they need to be criminally prosecuted the same way Americans are. Period. Number 2, if a law is violated intentionally, they should be made not to pay back the monetary value of the loss, but they should also be made back to pay back 3 to 5 times the monetary value because it was an intentional thing. And if a company does that, put them out of business. They're breaking the law. They're doing it intentionally because they know if they make $7 billion on breaking the law, if they're ever caught, they will pay probably only a few million. It's called the cost of doing business. And they'll deal with it. And then it'll be pushed under the rug after a little bit because we live in such a soundbite world. The next soundbites will fill it in. We'll totally forget about it. And that is precisely why everyone was in an uproar about Windows 10. And now everyone seems to be embracing it now. Crazy. I think there's probably a third thing we could do with the legal system, but, you know, that whole X-1 items on my list. Let's go ahead and check in on the comments. I think most of them are probably just saying, like, fire, 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 but let's have a look anyway. Oh, boy. BlackBerry Z10 had it for 6 months, mysteriously bricked, sent it back, took a month to have it repaired. Instead, they sent me a new one. It's still bricked. Yeah, mine somehow managed to nuke all of my contacts. The only way I still have my contacts is because I have an old flip phone, which you can't see because the kitty camera's on there. Yeah, I said kitty. Yep. Not buying Apple again, too. Hard sell, metadata. Don't like no home button, jack. They forced upgrades, etc. Plus them blocking Vulkan development stuff. Yeah, and I don't really care for my Mac. I liked the iPhones. The iPhone was the only thing that really got me into the Apple ecosystem. I really hate the Mac. I mean, I got one. I use it every day, but I hate it. You know, it's not my primary computer. It checks a few emails and a few of my projects get done over there, but hate the thing. Problem is you can't get a phone without a contract. Android, iDevice, anything. Clarify that. I'm curious what you mean by that. If an insurance company fails to do what they promised, definitely they must be kept on their toes and the standards maintained. I'd assume even if they had access to my data, except you can't. Yeah, you got that whole binding arbitration thing. Water. I don't have water, but I got some coffee. Coffee. Tom on fire. Woo! All right. Fire. Greetings, Anarita. How's it going there? John Payton, how's it going there? All right. And not all data breaches are known about. I get spam mail day by day because of old websites I've signed up for, yet they haven't reported that they have been hacked. Totally agree. They think they are above the law and need treated as criminals they are, not the elites. Okay. Yes, Have You Been Pawned website is a neat place to go to see if your website has been hacked. Or like your email address has been hacked. Clean 2, only found one site, which was MySpace website. Yep. I really like Mac Pro. I agree. All right. Next on the list of privacy type stuff. This one here, I didn't see Piggy on here. I don't know if he's on here or not, but he sent me a link related to this, and I could not find it. It must have been sent through my contact form or direct on email because it wasn't on my in my YouTube channel. But I wanted to use his, but I went with this one instead because I couldn't find his on this computer. So basically, Blue is this company. They have low-cost Android phones, and basically they're full of a bunch of spyware that was, collecting a whole bunch of stuff, sending it on back to you. Amazon took most of the models offline, so basically people are saying, yeah, typical surveillance in China. So nothing major here, just, more of your phones. In this case, though, it wasn't a matter of, it was a slightly different matter because the people were, basically this is something embedded in the phone or one of the embedded phone apps that couldn't be removed or is easier, more difficult to turn off. And I did not get on and watch this actual conference. I'd like to probably go watch that. I just didn't have the opportunity yet. All right, let's see. Chrome extensions. If you use extensions, this is why I use very, very few extensions. I don't even think I have any other than maybe like the, DRM extensions, stupid DRM. But I use as few extensions as conceivably possible. So what happened here is that 2 different extensions in a matter of 5 days were hacked into, both of them by phishing attacks, which is funny because you don't have to be necessarily vulnerable to the phishing attack. The idiot who runs your extension needs to be. And then, of course, with the things automatically updating, this is why I do not turn on automatic updates on anything. I want to control my updates. Thank you. So basically what's happening is the developers of these extensions were hacked, and what the hacker did is they put ad tracking and advertising stuff pushed into extensions and then pushed an auto update. So if you had automatic updates enabled, then you would have gotten the hacked version of the extensions. This is why if you are using extensions, do not auto update them. I'm not sure if Chrome gives you the option. I know Firefox does. Basically be very careful with your extensions, but it's not just a matter of are you being careful with your extensions, it's who runs the extension. So both of these, I'm looking for it in the article here. Let's see. Okay, in both cases, the attackers used unauthorized access to push fraudulent updates. It actually tells us, I don't remember if it's this article or another one I was reading, but basically what was happening is that both of these developers were hit by a phishing scam. So recent case happened on Wednesday to Chris Pedrick, creator of the web developer extension. Last Friday, developers of Copyfish, a browser extension that performs optical character recognition, also was hijacked. Let's see. Where's it at? Tells you how it happened. Basically what it was a phishing attack. So they sent out, there we go. They sent it out through phishing. Basically, it's like you get an email from Google like, hey, the blah, 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 something, click here and log in. Guys, how many times do we say it? And an app developer, an extension developer should know this. Do not click the button in the email and log in. Go directly to the site. Okay? Go directly to the site. Assume everything that comes in your email is a hack. The thing is, though, is that it didn't matter how smart you were. If you were using their extension, their stupidity impacted millions. Yay! So, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, on to the article for our title today. This is what happens when the ISPs are now allowed to collect and sell your private browsing data. Now, of course, this is an opt-in. This is an optional thing. So this is Verizon. I believe this is Verizon Wireless specifically. So Verizon Wireless has targeted ad programs that shares lots of personal data. So they are offering a new rewards program that requires opting in. So you have to opt in for this. So these customers will share web browsing histories with vendors and partners. Now, here's the challenge with this. This is that slippery slope. We're at the very top of this slippery slope, and we're about to go sliding down the cliff to instant death below. Okay, because this is just starting with a simple opt-in. At what point in time does this begin to be, we're sharing all this data with the advertisers unless you pay us extra? Are we willing to pay them extra? There's a fun question. So this is the new program. It's called Verizon Up. Let's see if I can find information about Verizon Up. Woohoo, Verizon Up. It's loading. Woohoo. Oh, it is a Verizon Wireless thing. Verizon Up is our new Verizon Wireless rewards program, providing you the opportunity to earn rewards and receive special offers. Experiences you won't stop talking about. Rewards you really, really want. See, really, you really want exclusively in the My Verizon app. Good thing I nuked that thing. Oh, boy. Verizon Up FAQs. Ooh, let's read this. This looks fun. Who's enrolling? No, I'm not logging in. Yeah, you want my feedback? I'll give you some feedback. Have a active Verizon wireless account in good standing. Ooh, I do. Be on a standard monthly plan. I don't know if I'm on a standard monthly plan or not, honestly. Be a resident of the United States. Ooh, I'm a resident of the United States. Have access to the new Verizon app. Ooh, I gotta download it right now. I must be 18 or over. Yes, I'm 18 or over. And no, contrary to one rude commenters, I'm not living in my mother's basement. No, actually, I've not lived at my mother's house since after college. I graduated college. 1 month later, I moved out. Haven't moved back since. Don't need to. Don't want to. I'm doing financially fine. Thank you. I'm not living in my mother's basement. Nowhere are my kitties. Oh, boy. Enroll in My Verizon Selects advertising program. Guys, when will we stop being so brainless as to trade our private data to companies for cookies and a movie? Really, how does it work? You'll earn credits just by paying your monthly bills. You can use these credits for a variety of rewards. Once you join up, you will earn 1 credit for every $300 you spend on Verizon wireless products and services on your monthly bills before fees and taxes. This amount will add up. Let's see, I will earn 1 credit for every. Let's see if I can find what these credits buy. I'm curious. After earning a credit, you'll have the ability to select a reward. Only 1 credit is required to claim a reward. Ooh, what type of rewards? There are 3 rewards. Earned rewards are most common rewards. You can claim 1 reward for up to 1 Verizon Up credit every month. Choose from 6 new reward options carefully selected just for you. Probably pushed by those marketers who know you so bad. Earned rewards would include device dollars towards your next device purchase. Discounts on an accessory or other rewards. Ooh, you have unexpected rewards. Ooh, it's like Christmas. Every once in a while, we may send you offers on special occasions, your anniversary of being a Verizon Wireless customer, or simply to thank you for choosing Verizon Wireless. These offers are our gifts to you and don't require any credits. You just, Ooh, super tickets. Get exclusive access to prime sporting events. Sign me up. Shows, concerts, and live experiences. You'll see a ticket availability countdown in the lower section of the Choose tab in the new app. Once the countdown reaches 0, you can claim the tickets just like other rewards. They're on a first-come, first-served basis. Get theirs before they're gone. Plus, we'll have dream tickets. Once in a lifetime. Money can't buy these experiences. Please, gag me with a spoon. Ooh, do they expire? Oh, they expire after 60 days. I want to see what I get. Ooh, super tickets. Let's see. Choosing rewards. Claiming rewards. Let's go back and look at the article. I think they did a little bit more research. Let's see. It's a replacement for Smart Rewards. Lets customers earn a credit for every $300. I wonder, you know what? I have a question. Let me see what this device dollars looks like. Super tickets, device dollars. What are device dollars? Device dollars are rewards can be accumulated over time when used when upgrading your device. Each device dollar reward is good for 24 months from the time of credit redemption. However, once you've gotten the redemption instructions, clicked on the card, use the screen, you have 30 days. Device dollars are stackable. See, what I want to know is, what does 1 device dollar get me? Like, they're not telling me the information I want to know. Because if it takes $300 to get 1 credit that I trade for reward dollars, what is that? $1 off? $10 off? You know, I imagine maybe $5 or $10 off your next device purchase. So I have to spend $300 to get $5 off? No, thank you. I'd just rather not give all that data to an advertiser. All right, in order to, let's see, you must do agree to enroll. Quote, we do not share information that identifies you personally outside Verizon as part of the program, other than with vendors and partners who do work for us. Yeah, like those third-party companies that don't know how to secure their AWS servers. The program terms say, emphasis ours, okay, we require that these vendors and partners protect the information. Yeah, they'll protect it except their third parties, who's probably the founder's cousin, and he's got no regulation. Okay. Vendors and partners remain unnamed. Yes. We asked Verizon which vendors and partners it shares information with. They didn't answer it, but pointed to the Verizon privacy policy within our family of companies. I think they grabbed the relevant part. Except as explained in our privacy policy agreements, Verizon does not sell licensed user information, blah, 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 without your consent. Okay, so we don't even know who these marketing companies are. Great. So I'm going to send you all the marketing things. You're going to give me 1 reward point every $300 I spend, and in turn, all of my private browsing data. That's everything you do on your phone, by the way. And did they have the list up here? I might have glossed over it, but literally this includes anything you do, all your apps, your app usage, every internet connection your phone makes. This thing knows. That's creepy. Oh, what they know. There we go. FCC would have required mobile internet providers to have customers opt in before consenting. Okay, let's see. Obtains opt-in before, and customers don't need to enroll in order to obtain internet access. Let's see. Okay, information used and is potentially shared with companies include information about your wireless device and how you use it, including web addresses or sites you visit, similar information about apps and features you use, as well as device identifiers. Okay. Information about your device location, including network data and location information, which, by the way, that means even if you turn your location services off, they still know your location based upon the location from the cell towers. Okay, your postal and email addresses. Oh, yeah, I want undisclosed third-party companies knowing that. Information about the quantity, type, destination, location, and amount of your Verizon telecommunication and interconnected voice over internet services related billing information. Quantity, type, destination, location, and the amount of your Verizon telecommunications and interconnected voice over internet. Information about your Verizon products and services and how you use them. Information we get from other companies, gender, age range, interests, shopping preferences, and ad responses. Information advertisers share with us to better target their own advertising. Dear Verizon, how about I give you a couple of movie tickets in exchange for your top executive's browsing history? I don't think so. Wow. Let's have a look at some comments. It looks like the kitty has shifted positions. Means is you need 2 of your contracts with 25 gigabytes of data for only $59 a month. May slow speeds of 2 does not include fees or taxes. See, I don't have any contracts on my devices, nor do I actually own. I own my devices, so I'm not a captive to my cell carrier. I could take my phone and my plan and everything else, my number, everything to any other character that supports a CDMA phone at will. So depending on where you live, though, United States started doing that because guess what? We actually have competition in the cell phone arena, which is why cell phone prices are very reasonable and the networks tend to work. ISPs, not so much because there's no competition. And that's the way they like it. I have 3 extensions on Firefox, and I don't need any more. That's right. Okay. Haddock. Most cell carriers like Roger, Bell, Virgin, Mobile have pay-as-you-go without contract as well. Okay. Better use extensions too. Privacy Badger. Everywhere. HTTPS. Everywhere. DuckDuckGo Plus. uBlock Origin. H.264ify. Just for security, make things a little easier. There you go. Petro Canada, 7-Eleven sell your phones too. They're the last year or 2-year-old models. Cool. Remember where I saw that? Concerned enough just to remove it. Okay. Powered by Mega Linux Mint. I don't think I would buy a phone from a gas station. Most plans are bring your own device. Yeah. Cell phone is an old phone from 2012, but guess what? It lasts me 4 days without charging. All right, can anybody beat the price of my phone? I'll show you my phone when I switch the camera back. I have a Alias 2 Samsung flip phone that I purchased in 2009, I believe. Does anybody have a phone that old that's currently in use? Curious. Your Google services you're now using. What about Microsoft and uBlock working together? Avoid it. S3 with saying a mod on it. Less long time. Screen's hard as a rock for me. Can stand fall down the stairs, but not a drop and kick, sadly. Well, don't be drop kicking your phone. And referencing a security concern to make sure people aren't ripped off is all. Lives underground in the Area 51 ops. Did I just spill the beans there? Shh, you weren't supposed to tell. Why do you think I have such easy access to Roger the Alien over here? Yeah, Kitty won't tell either. Kitty, do you like being in the desert? The Nevada deserts? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Kitty likes being in the desert. Kitty used to live in the desert, actually. Now, wondering if Tom heard anything about metadata Microsoft side of it. No, I have not. MuBlock Origin, I believe you're talking about. No, I have not. And any smartphone could last more than a day if people would stop apps being active in the background. Turn most of them off. Last 3 to 5 days. My iPhone lasts about 2 or 3 days before I have to charge it. Of course, I don't use my phone much, but leave the net and join back to the cave in the jungle. There you go. Could you please take a look at Bedrock Linux? I will. I think I actually added it to my list of things to look at the other day. Can't see that either because the kitty camera's on. Bedrock Linux. It's on my sticky note. I think I put that on when you asked the other day. I believe it was you that asked. Okay, rewards. The new unnoticed microtransactions and taxes pay on your subscription. No access for Verizon, but little we know about one of these third companies and Verizon ad services. Wonder who owns the company, Verizon. Well, never know, just a theory though. I forget who owns Verizon. I don't think it's completely all on its own. It's like McDonald's app. You are giving them complete access to your entire phone. And for what? For cheeseburgers and milkshakes, man. That's the best app worth it. I want to give McDonald's every bit of my data in exchange for cheeseburgers and milkshakes. Come on. Who's not down with that? What's new on that page seems incomplete. It's new on that. The page seems incomplete. Extension of your already 5-year-old course. I have Razer 3C, but it's CDMA and from 2007. Not using it because it's from Virgin Mobile. It was bought by Bell. Okay. Of course, there are more fun things here. I saw this article a long time ago, and that thing from Verizon made me remember. Here's my phone. I said I'd show it. Alias 2. Love it. Works great. How much of your data would you trade for a free cookie? I mean, come on. The Instagram cookie pictured here was so popular, they were having people give out the last 4 of their social security numbers and submit fingerprints, and people were doing it to get a picture, to get these Instagram cookies. Join me in the reptilian alien race, people. I no longer want to be human. I'm not sure if this is the exact one. I was looking for another article. I'm not sure if this is the exact one or if this was just a spin-off of that. But I first saw this. I first saw this as a student group on a college campus were having people fill out forms in exchange for cookies. I think that this is a different study, but in this one here, 380 New Yorkers, I think this is from 2014, October 2014. So 380 New Yorkers gave up sensitive information, fingerprints, partial social security numbers, etc. for a cookie. Guys, watch home cooking hacks. I will teach you how to make a cookie. And I will not require you to give me privacy data. Okay? Period. All right. It's crazy what people were willing to give me, says artist Risa Runo, who conducted the experiment she called Please Enable Cookies at Brooklyn's Arts Festival. The cookies, actual cookies, come in flavors from chocolate chili fleur de sel, pink pistachio peppercorn. I will not teach you how to make those cookies. Those sound gross. To get a cookie, people had to turn over private data, including their address, driver's license number, phone number, and mother's maiden name. More than half the people allowed Puno to take their photographs. Just under half, 162 people, gave what they said were the last four digits of the social security numbers, and about one-third, 117 people, allowed her to take their fingerprints. She examined people's driver's licenses to verify some of the information they provided. People asked Puno what she was going to do with the information. She refused to say, instead referring them to the terms of service, a full-page legal boilerplate displayed in tiny print, which gives her the right to display the information and share it with others. Oh, boy. Performance art experiment highlights what privacy experts already know. Many Americans are not sure how much of their private data is worth, and the customer judgment about what price to put on privacy can be swayed with all kinds of factors. Okay, guys, when you want to give up that type of data, the very data that banks, if you call a bank, they're going to want to know the last four of your social. Okay, how many websites are now like, we're going to have extra security, people. So with all of this extra security that we want to implement, please tell us your mother's maiden name. And then we're going to do this across all other sites. And so if somebody can access one of your accounts with one of these secondary things by accessing your mother's maiden name, which, by the way, you can get from Facebook for most Americans, guess what? They have everything they need. This person collected everything they need to do a social engineering hack on any account that you possibly have for a cookie. A cookie. Okay, guys? Are we 3 years old?
I want a cookie. I want a cookie. I want a cookie.
A cookie. Join me. I don't want to be human anymore. We're joining the alien race.
I don't care what they know about me. I just want a cookie.
This is a good tweet. I like this tweet. Oh, bummer. I saw that tweet somewhere else. It was a picture of the cookie. It said, I traded all my personal data for a social media cookie. Congratulations, sir. You are an idiot. The participants did not even eat the cookies. They just wanted to take pictures. I wouldn't eat the cookies either. Those are gross. Cookies were decorated with the Instagram logo, were so popular among photographers that Puno required purchasers, quote, to give their fingerprints, the last four digits of social security number, and their driver's license information. Many still agreed, quote, they wanted to hold it against the sky with the bridge in the background, she said. Yeah. Make my own cookies. The answer is no. I would not trade my privacy for a cookie. Reptilians are exit while they eat cookies. Reptilians exist while they eat cookies, yes. I can probably make better cookies than those. Definitely those. No, do you watch Ancient Aliens TV show? They might exist and even like cookies. Who knows? I ended up watching part of a reptilian alien documentary. It just got too weird. I had to turn it off. Some of the space alien people were the weirdest things. I went down. I was talking to a DA in a town I used to live in. I used to live in a little town out west where it was such a small town that I moved into town, and having a PhD connected with the university and with some of the volunteer work I did and joining the Chamber of Commerce all at the same time puts you in the upper elite in that city. So I was in the DA's office talking to him one day, and he was like an alien chaser, which is very funny because, in a nearby city was the Greater Green River Area Intergalactic Spaceport. And so here's the DA with all these conspiracy theory alien stuff right in his office. I'm thinking, yeah, you get criminals down here trying to not talk deals with you, and they just think you're a loony. Oh, I lost faith on that crap show, just starting with good stuff. Yeah, I missed half of it. Sorry, Ryan, you have to go back and catch the first half. Well, better than a lollipop, not. Tom, would you join any... I would join any race at this point. Yeah. How about the kitty race? Kitty, can we join your race, please? You seem much smarter. People sure are making the hackers' jobs easier. Yep. Found your channel. I really like your stuff, so I subbed. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate that. See you around. Colin, I do live streams. I usually do a live stream Wednesday night, Friday night, and Sunday night, various times. Tinfoil hat time is my Sunday night. You'd like that one, I think. Oh boy. Let's change things again. We're going to talk about corporate regulation. We're going to go ahead and use my corporatocracy banner again. So corporate self-regulation. Now, if you remember that whole pin of the remove net neutrality because regulation instantly is bad. Just because regulation is regulation, it's bad. Okay, that's kind of what they're trying to say. And so what we're going to do here, though, is understand that Asia Pi wants to just say companies will regulate themselves. They're going to put it right in that terms and conditions. Just ignore that part that says they can change out terms and conditions anytime. They're going to put it right in their terms and conditions. Okay, they will regulate themselves. So here's some articles, and I just wanted to pick between Comcast and Charter, they control 99% of the internet in America. And so I have a fun article from both Comcast and Charter talking about corporate self-regulation. Let's see how well they are regulating themselves. So Comcast fails to get the hidden fee class action suit thrown out of court. So what was going on? Well, Comcast was coming in and having all of these advertising things. But the problem is their advertising thing never included all the little fees, which they more than pentupled in the last few years. So in the last few years, let's see, I think they told us down here. Okay, the broadcast TV fee went from $1.50 a month to $6.50 a month since 2014. Okay, that's 3 years it went up. How much is that? 5 times? Okay, the regional sports fee went from $1 2 years ago to $4.50 now. Okay, so you're basically paying an extra $11 on top of the low advertised price, in addition, of course, to all of the other taxes, fees, and other things. So basically, a bunch of people, after being locked into these plans, they thought were at one rate, end up being a whole lot more expensive after they tacked in all these fees, which were not included. They all get together, class action lawsuit. They're like, no, you cannot sue us class action. They probably have a binding arbitration in there. Finally, a judge came out and said, no, we're going to go ahead and let the case go. So this is Comcast in their attempt to self-regulate. They're going to do just fine self-regulating the internet. Do not worry about the internet under Comcast. I mean, these guys are a paragon of absolute truth. Don't worry, they will regulate themselves. And of course, Charter, not to be outdone, Charter has moved millions of customers to new and oftentimes higher pricing. Anybody have Charter? What happened with Charter? So of course, they bought Time Warner, upgraded their whole internet to Spectrum, kind of like Comcast went to Xfinity. X-Files. So weird. Basically, 30% of its customers moved into their new plan. And what were the numbers on these? 30% of the customers are paying different, often higher prices. So 30% of people are paying higher prices. So their total customer relationships increased 200,000 in quarter 2 17. Let's see, 6.8 million residents subscribed to at least one of the 3 triple play services. 25.3 million of those are residential. They lost 90,000 TV subscribers, but gained 231,000 internet subscribers and 14,000 phone subscribers. Their average revenue per residential customer was $109.46. Now it is now $109.46, up from $109.11. So it only went up like 35 cents, but 35 cents times 16.6 million, 10.4 million, and 22 million is a lot. Okay. Let's see. Charter's average monthly revenue per resident customer. Let's see, we already did that. Comcast, of course, went up quite a bit more. They tried to raise my internet 20% if you were following what I was saying a few weeks back. So basically a whole lot of people, their service went up a whole lot. You know, this is what happens with self-regulation. Now, again, the cell phone market in America is competitive. There's 4 major carriers. They're all pretty close to the same. And so their services are very good. Their prices are staying low. And, you know, frankly, they're profitable enough. I was watching a documentary. What was it called? Something American Dream, or it was a new documentary, probably an anti-Trump spin, although it had really nothing to do with Trump. But it was basically following, I think it was maybe like called The Price of the American Dream. And it was interesting because part of it was set in Erie, and I lived in Erie for a while, so it's kind of why I watched it. But they were talking about the troubles with the GE plant, where GE plant was laying off tons of their stuff. Basically, they're shutting down the plant in Erie right now and reopening it up in Texas, where they can pay the employees half the rate to do the same thing. And so as they are doing that, what's happening is they're laying off all these people, but right in the middle of all these mass layoffs, all these GE companies, which really was the last major company producing the backbone in Erie, Erie's economy is dead. It is dead. It is only exclusively a service-orientated place, which means the best jobs you can get there are maybe $15 an hour flipping burgers at higher-end restaurants. Of course, most of the place is owned by Scott Enterprises, and Scott's a greedy jerk. And then with all of that being said, you only had a few of these industrial things. Of course, the paper plant moved out a good 15, 20 years ago. GE was that last thing. They're relocating their main manufacturing down to Texas right now. And while all this is going on, front page Erie Times, GE reporting record profits. The backbone of the economy of the city is laid off. I know a lot of people up there. I know a lot of people are going to suffer up there. But you know what? That's why you got to get out and do your own thing. I'm fortunate my web design company is a little too busy for me right now. I'm at times having to occasionally pull in a few subs every now and again just to do data entry things, stuff like that. But it's still tight because people are still careful about the amount of money that they're spending. So we got to watch out for this stuff. These companies are not going to regulate themselves. The only regulation they're interested in is whatever regulation it takes to increase their corporate profits and decrease their outgo. And that means that the people are the ones that get hurt. All right. And I'm not an I'm an anti-huge corporation person in a way. I prefer small businesses. Small businesses are the backbone of the American economy. That is what we need. Small businesses, like, you know, when I worked, let me go back to, when I worked at a small startup company that we were eventually bought out by Macmillan, huge corporate textbook thing, but we were a small startup company selling products to universities, and that small startup was massively profitable, but they paid us like $35 an hour for our job. Well, we were bought up by Macmillan. They looked down and go, what's all this sales staff getting paid $35 an hour for? Well, you can hire college flunkies for that. And so they laid all us off and hired people at $15 an hour to do the same thing we were doing. They're like, all these guys are doing is reading scripts. And ever since then, though, the product sucks. And the reason is they were paying us the big bucks because we were all former educators. We had degrees in the things that we were talking to the people. Not like, ooh, I have my associates in chemistry. I'm going to sell a chemistry professor on something. We were chemistry professors. We were professors talking peer to peer. That's why we were so effective at sales. Now, though, it got bought up by the big Macmillan corporate. They cut out all the people that were making a whole lot of money. They hired people at $12, $15 an hour to do the same job we were doing because that's how you maximize your profits. You screw the guys at the bottom. Oh, boy. lost faith on that crap show. Starting was good. Let's see. I think we already got that part. Let's see. Okay, talk about hackers. How about the guy that found a way to stop WannaCry? Yeah, I'm still reading into his story a little bit. That's interesting. They very suspiciously took him into custody. Seems weird. They say that he was part of a banking malware leak, but I have not made up an opinion on it yet. Reference the privacy being subverted by new laws on Linux Mint forum was where I saw the block to uBlock, so I'm playing it safe till I learn more. Yep, there you go. See, the host file script that I deployed, I can turn off all ad blockers because all uBlock Origin is going to do is just block a lot of different ad networks. I block them all on the host file level. It's not dependent on the browser. The wolf will do a fine job guarding the hen house. Yes, he will, Brian. The wolf will do a fabulous job guarding the hen house, and he'll only pluck off a hen every now and again. Do I even talk about... do not even talk about fees here in Canada. We pay a fee for everything, even for them to collect our garbage, which already pay them, but now we have to pay them fees. Yeah, that's funny. Like, okay, you're paying. I'm paying you to pick up garbage, but you want to have a fee to pick up the what? I don't know. Just providing some of that info I heard. New to Linux and all this and this channel. Security concerns. If data is sent, eh? I mean, yeah, if data is sent, but what we need to do is figure out how to minimize it. That's the question. Linux, among other things, which include security and among other things such as privacy. Yeah, I switched to Linux because of the privacy concerns in Windows 10. So I use this channel to talk about security, privacy, technology, and Linux. I'm trying to do more Linuxy stuff. I'll tell you some of the things I have planned. I want to talk about how I built out the server that I'm using for my WordPress tutorials, because it has wider applications. So like if you have a small business, you want to run something like an open source version of Salesforce is called Suite CRM, very good CRM program. You can spin that up on a virtual box through a redirect on your host file, and it's not on a net server, it's just on your basic computer, but it allows you to have a web-based application that's not actually on the internet. Great application for that. So I want to talk about how to do that kind of stuff. And of course, I have this new toy to play with. I'll grab it. This guy here is going to be my pfSense router when I get the chance. I put a huge heatsink on it. Very nice heatsink there. And actually, I want to experiment with a couple web design projects with this before I actually build it into a pfSense router. But I'm going to talk about that kind of stuff, and it's still on my radar to do collab. I'm just trying to figure out the best way I want to do that. So I'm trying to do more Linuxy stuff. You guys can't even see the cool thing I just showed you. That's funny. Every now and again, I forget which camera's displaying. I got that cat camera. This guy here, my nice little Fitlit PC. Put a massive heatsink on it. Going to turn this into a pfSense router, but I'm going to do some web design tests on it first. I want to see if it will work as a micro workstation, if I can get things like that running. The locomotive works too. Okay. I'm leaving. Like to watch this, but my internet says no. All right, well, see you, Haddock. Okay, their interest is to deregulate and benefit themselves and shareholders. Yep. Reference, please, or a proven link at Draw and Paint. Do you know that Linus Torvalds and CIA, there's a rumor about knocked Linus for a Linux backdoor? Yeah, there's been things saying about that a lot, but as far as most people understand it, probably not. And if there were a backdoor, we'd probably know about it because of all of the geeks that sit there staring at Wireshark transactions. Just described as to why the American government is failing because they do not hire experts. Yeah. Yeah, you can't post the link directly, but you can just kind of remove the dots and stuff. Yeah, you can drop it in the comments when this is done. Very late because I was on boat. Cool. What's my thoughts on uBlock Origin? I've had a few distros that ran it by default, but I generally don't use it. Great. How much Linux do you, Tom? Only 2 months or so in, had to learn a lot. How much Linux you do? How much Linux do I do? I'm thinking that's what that question is. What my long-term strategic plan out is. Now, I'm a web developer, and so, and I'm mostly a QA guy, so I have to make sure things work on all sorts of systems. So I have a Windows 7 computer that you can't see, well, maybe a little bit of it, that I set down there. And now when that's dead, I'm not doing any more development. Right now, that's my primary web development computer, is Windows computer. And the reason is, I have the full Adobe Creative Suite. I'm not dumping a perfectly good computer because I don't like what Windows 10 did. That doesn't make sense. I'm just not upgrading that computer to Windows 10. I keep it locked behind huge quantities and copious amounts of firewalls, and I have not allowed the telemetry to be installed on it. That's what I've done. But when that computer finally dies, Linux will take the place as my primary web development computers. I also have a Mac. But the other computers, so like this gets recorded on a Linux setup here. Let me see if I can move my kitty cam here. Whoa, kitty! All right. So I have that massive beastie computer there with icy docks in front, all that. This setup here is running. I don't have much room on this camera. But I'm running a dual monitor setup. Here's my primary camera. I have my mic is set up here. That's my massive solar lamp. 2 monitor setup. So I have a huge setup here. This is all running Linux Mint Cinnamon. And the computer over here, this is currently KDE, Linux Mint KDE. I usually have my Debian KDE over there. I just needed a file off of it. So I do that, and then all of my laptops that are mobile. Actually, I still have a Surface Pro 1 that is my main writing computer, but I have my backup writing computer runs Peppermint. My main web development laptop when I'm developing outside the office is Linux Mint. So I'm moving everything over to Linux for main production stuff, and I'll be using Macs and Windows computers just for basics. In fact, I do have a Windows 10 computer. It's not hooked up to anything. But if I do need a Windows 10 computer, I keep forgetting to change that camera view. There we go. There's my Windows 10 computer. It stays in a drawer down under my desk. When I need a Windows 10 computer, I might have a client's like, I can't figure something out on Windows 10. I have to plug this stupid thing into a monitor somewhere and turn it on and help walk them through it. But, so I do a lot on Linux, but I use all other systems as well out there. So that's that. Also having problems with Airport Extreme card MacBook on Linux Mint. I do not. I have not seen an Airport card in a while. I was asking if GE Locomotive left Erie. That is the plant that they are in the process of shutting down and moving it over into Texas, because basically in Texas there are no state unions. In Erie there are, or in Pennsylvania there are. Okay. Switch to Linux. Hey, switch to Linux. What's a better OS for web development? Mac, Linux, or Windows, or FreeBSD? I have not used FreeBSD, so I don't know about that. I absolutely hate Mac OS for web development. It makes me want to go hurt myself. You can't do fun things on Mac. You can't do fun things like edit an htaccess file. You have to edit it as text, move it to the server, and then rename it on the server. That's a pain. Windows is fine for development. I've done all my business up to the last couple years has been exclusively Windows, which is just fine. I find Linux to be just as good. The good advantage on Linux is free software. Windows, I had to pay for Dreamweaver, Photoshop, all that other fun stuff. Of course, you can get all those software packages now. Back at that time, you couldn't when I got those. But on Linux, I'll use Bluefish Editor for web development. Use, of course, GIMP, Krita, Inkscape. So you have all those. But I'm liking Linux. I like the power of Linux a lot more. for development, especially since a lot of your servers are also running Linux. I just have a better experience developing stuff on Linux. It's just my Windows workstation is a very good, very well built out workstation, so I'm just using that until it dies. But I have other computers. As soon as that's dead, I won't miss a beat. I'm just going to plug the other computer in and keep going. So, nuclear fusion occurs when two light atoms bond together or fuse. The total mass of the new atom is less than mass 2 forms. The missing mass is given off as energy. Yes, thank you. And I'm such a nerd, I know what you said. Can you make that wallpaper available to us? The one on your right shoulder. This one over here. That is actually in the KDE wallpaper repositories. Let's see if I can find it. And, you know, all I did to grab that is just go look for new wallpapers and just grab it. It's one of the ones on the list. Let me see if I can find out what it's called. If I can find my mouse. Okay. Stars, night, clouds, sky. Let's see if I can find out with that. Oh, there's some really cool ones I found. I don't see that specific one. Yeah, if you just go to the KDE in the KDE wallpapers, it's called Moonlight, Stars, Night, Cloud, Sky, HD 1080p wallpaper is what it's called, and it was directly from the Get New Wallpapers. And if I think of it and somebody reminds me through a comment when this is up, I'll see if I can't find a link directly to it. But yeah, it's directly from the OS repositories. I mentioned a Peppermint OS just installed on my old Lenovo laptop a few hours ago to replace El Ubuntu. Do you have any concerns about Flash plugin coming natively with that? You know, the new version does have that. I actually did mention that on my initial review video. That I was a little concerned about that, but I'm not as concerned about Flash as you could be because most of your modern browsers disable it by default. And so it's disabled. It should be disabled by default. And then whenever a site needs it, you should get a pop-up asking you to activate it. So I'm not all that concerned because of that. Cat left. I don't know when the cat left. The cat left a while ago, apparently. We'll go back to those comments. All right, used to use Windows. Let's see. Cannot find your mouse. Seriously, you have about 5 mouses there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Here's all. Oh, here's all 5 of them. Okay. Found a driver for Airport Extreme, still can't load web pages, huh? All right, let's see. Oh, I found the wallpaper. Just threw the wallpaper in there. Found it. Cool. All right. I think we have one more article left. I'm calling this one Smart Living. People are shocked that TV signals over the air are free and legal. Only in 2017. Like, that was kind of known before Netflix started streaming everything under the sun, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, that's kind of a problematic thing. Basically, if you're unaware and you really have to have your television and etc., etc., the best thing that you can do is get a little antenna, plug it in, and see what you get on the air. Now, there's some areas like I'm in kind of like a mountainy part of the state, and so in the mountainy parts of the state, we don't have, there's some places you could not get that type of reception, but it certainly is worth looking into. It still exists. But I'm not sure why this article exists, but I did call it Smart Living because, I think one of the biggest problems in America right now is that we are really, really spending way too much income on things that are not necessities, and we need to stop doing that. Just slow down a little bit, just calm down a little bit, etc., 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 and pretty much just kind of see what's going on with that. So, anyway, see if there's any final comments. I think we'll about wrap this boat up here. Canada has air-free channels for years. Well, the kitty did come back and recapture his perch, so I think what we're going to do is we will end on the kitty cam, and I'm going to feed the cute kitty cat. No, up here. Up here. Come on. All right, everybody. Have yourself a wonderful evening.